video with some of the other double reed woodwinds that I have. So the first ones I want to talk about are shawms. These aren't, not really sure, I don't think that I know of it, whether they came from the Crusades, whether they were brought back from Palestine in the Crusades, or whether they just sort of developed out of some of the older instruments that, say, the Romans had or something like that, because they had some double-reeded instruments as well. And the shawms are the real forerunners of the oboe, because they have, obviously, they have a little double reed that goes on it's not really a bocal, it's just a pipe that sticks there. This is called a pirouette, and you put that on so that when you play it, you put your mouth against that, and it's not as tiring on your mouth. Shawms tend to be pretty loud. You'll see in Renaissance instruments that there's a difference between instruments that are made with a cylindrical bore, where the diameter at the top and the diameter at the bottom are the same, and those that are made with the conical bore, where the diameter at the top is not as big as the diameter at the bottom, and so it kind of flares out at the bottom. And the ones that flare out at the bottom tend to be louder than the ones that are just strictly cylindrical. So it sounds something like this. So it sounds very kind of Middle Eastern-y, and there are a bunch of instruments that are still played in the Middle East that are related to these, as you can tell just from listening to whatever, movie scores or whatever. And a lot of times these instruments will come in families. So that was a soprano. This is an alto, which obviously is larger, and so it's going to sound lower. And the reason that they did this is that they could play these in groups, and they needed the bigger sizes so they could have, you know, a soprano, alto, tenor, and a bass line playing. So the alto sounds a little like this. You can hear it, that it's lower. So those are the shawms. Here is another instrument that's very close to the shawm. You can see from the flared bell that it's going to be very loud. This is called a rauschpfeifen in German, which basically means noisy pipe. And this is in a family that is called windcaps. And what they mean by that is that the reed goes inside of this little hollowed out headpiece. So you blow through the hole in the headpiece, but you don't ever your mouth doesn't ever fit against the actual reed. But like I said, they're pretty loud. I'm not going to play very much of it because it's very loud. So you can hear that it's loud. It sounds very much like a zurna, which is a Turkish instrument that folk bands will play. But these were obviously used outdoors, used a lot in things like processions and marches, and there are a lot of woodcuts where you see the musicians with the trumpets and they'll be playing these really loud instruments. And the last family I want to talk about is the crumhorns. And this is from the German Krummhorn. And what it means is that it's bent, and you can see that the bell is bent. And once again, it has uh, the reed inside again. This is a cylindrical, I mean a conical instrument, so it's not quite so loud, but it's still nice and loud. So it's a nice little buzzy sound. And all of this stuff that I'm playing is just, I'm making it up as I go along. It's not real tunes or anything like that. But these also come in very different sizes. So that was the soprano. This is the alto. It's a different maker, so that's why they look different. And there are, once again, this is the alto. There's a tenor. There's a bass. I think there's a great bass, which is an octave below a bass. But those bigger ones are pretty. Take a lot of air to play. I have a couple, but I'm not going to try to play them. You can get hyperventilated on them pretty easy. So those are the ones that I have. I have some Krummhorns. I have a couple of rauschpfeifen, a couple of shawms. I have a couple of quart holes that were in the other video. A couple of rackets, and that's about it for the woodwinds. So I guess that's it.